almost impossible set to review. What is up, Lego gang? Nicole here, back at it again for another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Lego Ideas Dungeons & Dragons set. So this got fully revealed about a week ago. I've spent an entire week just staring at it, speechless. I have never built a Lego set that has left me completely paralyzed with emotion to the point where I cannot fully articulate what I want to say about it. I spent the past week racking my brain trying to figure out a way that I can convey how I feel about this set without sounding like a complete fangirl and a complete wacko. This is the most amount of time I have ever spent with one single Lego set. Usually I will receive the review offer, or I will go out and buy a set, I will build it, I will review it, I won't review it, whatever, and it's over and done with, and that's about it. And then I put it on a shelf and I appreciate it. From the moment I received the set to the last brick I placed on it, I have been completely blown away. And I think it has to do with a couple reasons. You can appreciate this set as a Lego fan. It is an incredible build. It has wonderful techniques and it's visually stunning. But to look at this set with the eyes of someone who has played D&D and knows the basic ins and outs of the game, and I will preface by saying I'm in no way, shape, or form a know-it-all about D&D, and I don't think a lot of people are. I think a lot of us D&D players can appreciate the game and appreciate the fandom without feeling the need to know every single thing, and I think that's the beauty of the D&D community. When I look at this set, I see so much. I see my love for Lego, I see my love for fantasy, I see my love for creativity. I see so many very strong emotions, and so that's why it's taken me so long to even make this video. But I hope that my love for D&D and my love for Lego and my admiration for this set will really come through with this video and hopefully help you guys. And I don't know, if it becomes a bridge between the Lego world and the D&D world, that would be fantastic, because the more the merrier. I don't believe in gatekeeping any type of hobby. Every fandom exists so that we can appreciate them, no matter the depth of knowledge we have in it. I'm going to be showing you around the set in a pretty unique way. I'm going to be using the campaign that comes with this build. Lego and D&D Wizards came up with a whole story and a whole campaign that you can play through using this set as a map. So I'm going to be using that guide to show you around the set. I'm not going to be spoiling anything. I'm not going to be really talking about the storyline. And full disclosure, I did make somewhat of a campaign type review on Instagram and TikTok, and you can check that out. But I will say this, I deviated a bit from the official story. I took some creative liberties. I changed some of the relationships around. I did spoil a few things, unfortunately. I don't know if there was any way really around it, but it is what it is. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. But if you are planning on playing this campaign, maybe don't check that out. Maybe just stick with this video so you can see just the parts of the build. I probably should have said this earlier in the video. If you are new here, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. It means the world, and I would love to have you around. And this set was sent to me by the Lego Ambassador Network, and I am forever grateful. This would have been a day one purchase for me. This was the fan model that I voted for when they opened up the Lego Ideas D&D voting poll. They let the audience choose which set that Lego was going to make, and this was the one I voted for. So it's a bit surreal to be here 2 years later, sitting next to this set and working with Lego at the same time. But with that being said, all thoughts and opinions about the set are my own. And yeah, let's get into it. Otherwise, I will ramble forever. The Lego Ideas Dungeons & Dragons set was made to celebrate 50 years of Dungeons & Dragons. This set will have 3,745 pieces, releasing on April 1st for $370 US. This build is divided up into 4 instruction booklets. In the first booklet, you can find a ton of information on what D&D is, as well as some information about the designer, who is named Lucas Bolt. His design was submitted to the Lego Ideas program and was voted on by fans just like me to make this into a set. You can follow him on Instagram at BoltBricks, and I will also link his information below. I also had a ton of fun just peeking through the rest of the instruction booklet and just learning more about the different characters included. Even though I knew some of them, it was great to just refresh everything, and the artwork is really beautiful in here. There is a free campaign that is included when you purchase this set. However, if you would like to have a physical copy of the Dungeon Master Guide or DM Guide, you can actually use your LEGO Insider points to purchase a physical copy. And call me old-fashioned, but I really enjoyed having a physical copy of the DM Guide to use. This set will come with 11 stickers, which I know will ultimately upset some people, but I didn't mind having the stickers, and the designer said that they did this in order to give us some more exclusive printed tiles and make eyes for the creatures, which I very much prefer. This set comes with 4 exclusive player characters. Up first, we have the Elf Wizard. She comes with a few accessories, including the arcane focus, a few scrolls, as well as a spell book. The hairpiece for this minifig is brand new. The designer said that they wanted to create a more Afrocentric hairpiece for this set, and I think that they did an absolutely beautiful job. The torso and the skirt are fully printed, and all minifigs come with an additional headpiece so that characters can customize the gender of their minifigure. From behind, we can see the torso has printing on the back and 2 different facial expressions for the minifig heads. Next up, we have the Orc Rogue, and I have to say this has to be one of the most detailed minifigs I've ever seen. He comes with 2 daggers, fully printed torso, and fully printed legs. And I have to say, even including the small detail of the clip for the cape being printed onto the minifig is absolutely brilliant. The heads only have 1 facial expression, but you can see the back of the torso is also printed. Next, we have the Gnome Fighter, and it comes with a fully printed shield as well as a longsword and half-plate armor. I love the fully printed torso as well as the hairpiece that comes with this minifig. From behind, you can see that the torso is fully printed and the headpieces both have dual expressions. Last but not least, we have the Dwarf Cleric. He comes with a couple accessories, including the Holy Symbol as well as a Warhammer. The torso and the legs both come printed with this kind of like chainmail detail on the sides. The back of the torso is also printed, and you can see we get 2 facial expressions. The set comes with 2 NPCs or non-player characters. The first one is Alex Jadescales, and I really loved the torso and leg printing on this minifig. The head is actually from the video line. I believe it's a recolor, and the back of the torso also has full printing. Next up, we have Mary Rumwell, and he also has a fully printed torso and legs, and I really especially love the dragon emblem that he's wearing. And on the back, you can see that the torso is also fully printed. This set comes with some pretty incredible monsters and creatures. We're going to start with one of the most iconic monsters in D&D lore. This is the Beholder. This is on the cover of the monster manual. Like, that is just how important this is to the fandom. And a D&D set wouldn't have been the same without this included. And LEGO just did such a great job with this brick-built model. It looks amazing. I especially enjoyed the articulation in the mouth and in the eye stalks. You can actually move these around, and the printed eyes really make a difference. And if LEGO wanted to, this build looks so incredible that it could have been its own set or even a gift with purchase, but I don't know. I'm so glad that they included it with this set. Next up, we have one of my favorites. This is the Displacer Beast. Has always been one of my favorite D&D creatures. I mean, what's better than like a big black cat with tentacles? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's mildly terrifying if you were to see it in the game, but in person, I would love it. This also comes with quite a bit of articulation in the tentacles as well as the tail. The legs all move, and there's some movement in the head as well. I especially love the printed eyes in all of these monsters. Like, there's something about it that makes them almost seem lifelike, so I'm really glad that LEGO included that. Up next, we have another D&D classic. This is the Owlbear, and this is remarkably adorable. I love the printed eyes, the articulation in the head, the tail, the legs also move. They do the splits, which I wasn't expecting out of an owlbear, but yet they can do it. They are talented. But yeah, this looks absolutely amazing, and I'm blown away by all of these monsters. We also get 2 myconids. I wouldn't even call these monsters. They're more like little fungus babies, and I think that these look incredible. They're on the Dreams bodies with printed heads and little mushroom caps. I don't know, 10 out of 10. I love them. I never could have predicted a brick-built gelatinous cube in my 2024 bingo card, yet here we are, and it looks so much better than I could have ever imagined. But even better than that, a baby gelatinous cube. Like, I didn't even know that existed, but it's adorable. Like, I love this. It looks so good. It really gets to the point. You can't ask for more from this. And at this stage, I feel like I'm doing a countdown of the most iconic D&D monsters, but they're all LEGO. We also get 2 mimics in this set. We get a bed mimic, which looks stupidly inviting. And we also get a regular chest mimic. The bed has teeth and, you know, a great storage system, maybe from IKEA. And the chest has the iconic blue tongue, the teeth, and there's some money in there, but I would leave that money alone if I were you. We also get 3 skeletons included in this set. The first skeleton we get is a fighter. He's wearing a breastplate and he's wielding the sword of sharpness. Up next we have a rogue who is wielding the dagger of venom, and he's also supposed to have a ring of invisibility, but I forgot it, or it's just invisible, I don't know. Up next we have a wizard, and he is wearing the robe of scintillating colors, and my man, oh man, these are scintillating. I am mesmerized by this robe. Up next we have the red dragon, and honestly I could do an entire video on just this one part of the build, but there were a lot of questions as to why they changed the color from the original green dragon to this red color, and it turns out that it had to do a lot with the D&D wizards wanting to stay true to the Dungeons & Dragons logo. This is a 50th anniversary set, so it is important to stay true to the brand, and the red dragon is just one of the most iconic monsters in D&D lore. And I've built a lot of dragons out of Lego, just between Harry Potter dragons as well as Ninjago dragons, and this is by far the most intricate and best dragon I have ever built out of Lego. Between the parts usage as well as the wings, just everything about this, the techniques that were used, is just mind-blowing. I can't believe that this is actually Lego. And because this is such a complex part of the build, there is one entire instruction booklet for just this one model. Now there is quite a bit of articulation, even in the head alone. The jaw opens and closes, there are parts that move around, but one of my problems here was that the head doesn't really stay up. It kind of just flops down, and I don't know if there's any way around that. The wings also move up and down, not terrible range of movement, but they do move. The front legs are double jointed at the shoulder and elbow, so you can move at both points there. And fun fact, D&D had asked Lego to include thumbs on the dragon. That was a very important requirement, so you can see them here. And the back legs also move, but only at one point, they're not jointed. I loved the tail of the dragon. I thought that there was a ton of articulation here. You can move it around. It just looks incredible once it's built. Overall, I think this dragon is a love letter to both Lego and to D&D. It just does justice for both fandoms, and I adore this. Now, there are a few magical items that are hidden throughout this build, and I'm going to show you some of them, not all of them, but you can find them as you play through this set. There are 2 books hidden in this set, the Tome of Clear Thought, as well as the Manual of Quickness of Action. And tucked in these books are 2 spell scrolls, one for Speak with the Dead and another one for Protection from Energy. There are 2 shields, 1+1 shield, as well as this beautifully printed Centennial shield. The set also comes with 1 Lantern of Revealing. There's also a Devotee Censer, a short bow, a Staff of Frost, a Dragon Orb. Oh, there's the Ring of Invisibility, but there are also gems, keys, magical scrolls, and money hidden throughout the set. There's also an array of potions, including ones for speed, healing, clairvoyance, heroism, resistance, and healing greater. Now I'm going to show you around this set using the scene guide in the campaign as kind of like a general guide, but one of the greatest things that I noticed about this set is that the build actually went scene by scene. So we start at the tavern and then we move our way along the build as we would in the campaign all the way until the very end. And I appreciated that even though this is a very fantastical display piece, the designers did construct this in such a way that you can break apart the different buildings and areas to essentially convert this into a playset for any D&D campaigns that you would like to run through it, and all the parts still maintain immense amounts of details. So our campaign begins in a tavern called In Plain Sight, and as I mentioned earlier, this is the very first thing that we build in this set. Now the inn has 2 floors, the first floor being more of like a pub restaurant where our players can have hot wings, they can look at the posters, they can kind of just explore both floors. The second floor is more of like a bedroom with different areas where they can maybe find some clues as to what would be going on in the story. And as players move along the campaign, you can choose to either keep the buildings detached or you can choose to attach them back together. But once we leave In Plain Sight, we make our way over to the second scene of our campaign, which is the meadow. And this is by far my favorite part of the entire build, just because there's so much here, and I love the absolutely stunning lush greenery that's used to decorate this entire thing. But I feel like the more I explore this, the more I find things that I didn't realize that I had missed, and I just discover little nooks and crannies that are full of just impeccable details. And the meadow is right next to these crumbling ruins, and it's just so beautiful. I feel like in real life, this is a place that I would totally hang out in, and I feel like a lot of people who are going to go through this campaign are going to want to spend a lot of time in this area, just exploring and trying to find out more things that can be hidden just behind every branch. Which brings us to our next scene in this campaign, which is the dungeon, and it's just impossibly difficult. It's filled with tons of oozes like black puddings and gelatinous cubes, and when you play this, you will see just how impossible this area is. In the off chance that you do not meet your demise and you make it through the dungeon, there is another level waiting for you in the basement. So once you make it here, there's another entire room to explore, and just make sure you check all the nooks and crannies and maybe find some terrible surprises along the way. I found that as I was building this part of the set, I had a ton of fun doing it, but my mind was also blown with just how much detail they were able to fit in a small area of space. And just when I thought that there wasn't more that could be added, they were able to add more, and I just really enjoyed the basement quite a bit. So after we've headed up the stairs, we make our way into the tower. And the tower has 3 different levels for the campaign, and again, it's just filled with so much detail and tons of treasures. And I really do feel like the tower scene in the campaign is kind of like a crescendo to the final battle, or the final boss, if you will, but I really had a great time building it. And for the sake of keeping this very exciting and keeping some secrets, I will not spoil who the final boss is, but I think you can kind of figure out what will happen. So with that, I've just run through all 5 scenes of the campaign, excluding the 6th scene, which is the final boss. And all in all, I just had an incredible time building this set. It is just visually stunning, and I love it. So let me know in the comments what you think about this build and if you plan on picking this up. So I do want to take a quick second here at the end of the video. Oops, I messed with the beholder. That could be deadly. Okay, so I did want to take a quick second to talk about what the set means to me here at the end of the video, because like I said earlier, this is the most amount of time I've ever spent with any Lego set. This set elicited so many different emotions to me that I couldn't quite articulate what it was that I was feeling. And after thinking about it for the past week and just staring at this set like a psychopath for hours and hours, I figured out what it is. I always felt like a bit of a loner growing up, and so I turned to all of these nerdy things to create this own reality for myself. And whether that was books, movies, RPGs, D&D, all of these worlds that I could create and be a part of made me feel a sense of belonging. And that really translated more into the adulthood. I did find myself a lot more, and I did make friends eventually, and I got out of the awkward state. Well, I was going to say I got out of the awkward stages of my life, but I'm still very much awkward. So maybe not. Maybe I won't lie to you with that. But a set like this represents quite a bit to me. For starters, I played D&D for the first time in high school. I might have even played it in middle school, but I distinctively remember playing it in high school. I don't remember the specifics of the campaign, but I remember the feeling I got from playing. It was this feeling of that my presence and my decisions mattered in this world. And it was a really beautiful experience. And I had it a few more times in high school. And then during college, I played a couple times. And then I picked it up again before COVID. And then, of course, COVID killed everything, and in-person play, it killed everything. But I really found myself in the worlds that games like D&D created. So now we live in a time where the term nerd is very much celebrated, and it's now this thing that's considered cool. But I remember a time where nerdiness was synonymous with loner and loser, and I felt all of those things. And I felt like I needed to hide the things that I liked and the things that I were passionate about. I may not look like I didn't fit in as a kid. I may look like I have it together now, and I thankfully do, but like as a kid, it was extremely brutal for me. I was bullied relentlessly, and these worlds really created a space that I felt very safe in. When I see this set, I don't just see D&D. I don't just see beholders and awakened trees and owlbears and ruins and magic and spells. I see a part of my history that I can be proud of. I see a representation of creativity and belonging that is represented here. Lego is all about creativity. It's all about including everybody, and it's all about making people feel welcomed from 0 to 99. And I think they might even have to raise that age bracket so the 100-year-olds don't feel left out. But I see a set here that is a collaboration of two companies that really get it. Like two companies that really want to create this incredible experience for their players, for their builders, for all of that. The love and passion that the designers had in making this set really came through for me, placing every single piece on this build. I felt their love for this set really show through. A few of the Lego ambassadors had this opportunity to have a roundtable with a couple of the designers. And one of the Lego ambassadors said that this was the first time that he truly played with a set in his adulthood. And that resonated with me because I'm the same way. Like the way that I've tinkered with this set, the way that I've moved things around and taken it apart and peered into all the little spaces and put the minifigs through, and it has been a really beautiful experience. This set will be special to me forever. Like, I can truly say that this has become one of my favorite sets I have ever built, and it will be one of my favorite sets that I will probably ever build. Really emotional here, but I remember what it was like to like this stuff and not feel accepted. And now I can like this stuff and cry about it publicly and be accepted. So, yeah, I I highly recommend, even if you're not a D&D fan, to just play a campaign. Find a group that will play with you. You don't even all need to know the ins and outs of the game. You can create your own story. You can make your own homebrew, and just enjoy the times that you can have with each other, because I promise you that those are memories that will stick with you forever. I know I keep saying this, but the times that I've played D&D are the times that I remember the most playing any type of game with my friends. So anyways, that was an emotional rant I wasn't expecting to have on YouTube. Never thought I would cry on YouTube ever. This is why I didn't make the video right away, because this is where I was at a week ago. But I hope that if you plan on picking up this set, that it has the same, or if not, some sort of emotional connection to you. I do want to leave you guys with one more little thought before I sob my little eyes out. Let's not gatekeep any type of fandom. I think the more the merrier in any fandom, especially D&D. It's, for me, it's been hard trying to find people to play with. And so I'm very much of the mindset that the more the merrier. So if you see an influx of people coming in wanting to learn more, or even acting like they do know more than they do, just be accepting of them. I want the nerd world to be as large and flourishing as possible. And I want people to feel accepted, because as a kid, I didn't feel accepted with the cool kids, and the nerds were always like the people who embraced me for who I was and for who I am even now. I don't want this culture of nerdiness now being widely accepted to now create the opposite effect, where people feel left out for wanting to celebrate that part of themselves. So yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and I will see you guys for the next one. Bye.